back. Welcome back to the Top Wisdom channel. If you are new here, this is a channel where we release educational videos, grade 12, 11, and 10, English, history, and economics also, and business studies and others. So, guys, today we're going to talk about the history topic, capitalism in the United States, in the USA. So, this is part 2. So if you didn't really watch part 1, I think you should go. In fact, I'm telling you, you should go watch part 1. There's a link in the description, because obviously you wouldn't understand what I'm talking about if you didn't watch part 1. It's like watching the movie halfway. You're gonna be confused. But if you are lazy, which wouldn't pay off, you can start watching part 2. But I advise you to go and watch part 1 now. Go now before you watch part 2. Go to the description and click the link and watch part 1. So without wasting any time, let me begin. In contrast, capitalism had a devastating impact on vulnerable groups of society, as there was a decline in the union membership and technological developments displaced workers. After the strike defeat of 1999 or in 1923, US union membership declined by 25%, which left the working class underrepresented. The radical decline of union membership was the outcome of the economic prosperity in the business and industry, as both anti-union views were evident in both employers and the government, making organized strikes almost impossible to execute. In 1919, 21% of workers participated in a total of 3,600 strikes in an attempt to increase workers' rights. However, in 1929, only 1.2% of the workforce participated in 900 strikes across the United States. The economic prosperity of 1920s resulted in a stable pricing, a reduction in unemployment, and the rise of real income, causing a major decline in the union membership. This left the working class underrepresented due to the lack of union support from both government and the employers. Employees often faced threats and termination if they were participate in the pro-union activities. The development of new technologies resulted in the displacement of many factory and agricultural workers, as their skills were replaced by machinery. In 1929, the rate of labor hours decreased by 40% since 1921, simultaneously resulting in a high job-seeking population. Through both the decline in the union membership and the high displacement of workers, the divide between the rich and the poor increased substantially, with the wealthiest 5% of society earning more national income than the bottom 60%. Capitalism heightened the inequality within the US, as the vulnerable sections of society were underrepresented and faced technological displacement within the workforce. So guys, here, as I've said, as you know, my channel, I only release the key points and important factors. Everything I'm teaching you is very important. There's no unnecessary thing here. All of these are really important. So it's very important that you listen, and maybe if you know that you are good at writing, you can write down notes and pause the video and write down some notes, so that you can go and restudy again. Furthermore, capitalism impacted the political functioning of the United States during the interwar period, as conservative economic policies failed, leading to the Great Depression. Calvin Coolidge, along with Henry and Hoover, believed the chief business of the American people is business. The conservative governments of 1920s assumed that lack of government intervention through laissez-faire would significantly benefit the US economy and its population. Through this approach, ideally, businesses are able to have freedom to take risks and are able to maximize profits from this. The wealth is able to be transferred to the lower classes through the trickled-down effect. However, the decline failed as the gap between the wealthy and the poor was enlarged. The conservatives lost their power over the US, which subsequently resulted in the Great Depression. The conservative government's lack of intervention within the US economy resulted in the rise of small-scale banks. The McFadden Act 1927 allowed national banks to have unlimited access to various investment powers such as real estate, stocks, deposits, and loans and trust operations. The economic freedom given to the US banks, enabled by the capitalist government, had detrimental effect on their political power, as by 1929, 50% of the nation's financial resources were controlled by 1% of American banks. The conservative government also implemented lower taxes for personal and business income in an attempt to weaken the power of the unions across the US by reducing union membership. The conservatives lost contact with the working class as they were underrepresented within the workforce, who were the majority of their supporters during the 1921 elections against the Democrats. The conservative government essentially bought their own end to their presidential reign, as they weren't able to act in accordance to the economic chores of the Great Depression. Hoover's successor, F.D. Roosevelt, 1932, proclaimed his presidency, "Well, this will elect me," before he won the 1932 election to 39.7% due to the poor economic deterrents imposed by the conservative government. The capitalist approach the governing had a significant impact, as the economic deterrents caused political change within the United States, therefore causing economic and social distress. Despite the apparent changes made, F.D. Roosevelt's presidency still had evident capitalist intentions, which had an impact on the functioning of the US between the years of 1933 and 1941. During the FRD's presidency, there were numerous attempts to stimulate the economy by implementing capitalist initiatives, from the New Deal to the combat that Great Depression. The Agricultural Adjustment Act, AAAA, 1933 played a significant role in stimulating the agricultural market. The AAA imposed a domestic allotment that would assign a quota to each farmer to reduce overproduction and to increase the demand for agricultural products. This capitalist approach stimulated the agricultural market by limiting the surplus of agricultural commodities, which enhanced the demand for agricultural products and increased the income of large-scale properties. The Civilian Conservative Corps (CCC) was a project based in the West aimed to rebuild the Miami to Key West Railroad. This ultimately brought jobs and tourism to the western states, who suffered significantly due to urbanization, as for the first time in American history, more people lived in cities compared to the rural areas. The 1933 Tennessee Valley Authority (TVA) was implemented to increase the production and sale of electrical power across the state. The control of the electrical power was contracted with the privately owned businesses, who were sold to wholesalers for distribution. The low electricity rates generated by the TVA were due to the TVA's tax immunity and how it was not compulsory for TVA to publish its revenue on its operation. The capitalist phases of Roosevelt's presidency stimulated the agricultural market, generated employment, and constructed new infrastructure, which had a key impact on the rebuilding of the economic and therefore social and political cause that arose from the Great Depression. Capitalism had a significant impact on all areas of the US society during the interwar period. The economic prosperity of the 1920s allowed businesses and industry to advance, as the economic deterrents enforced catered for mass production and therefore converted the US into a consumerist society. Socially, capitalism transformed the everyday American's lifestyle, as the consumerism provided the opportunity for leisure, along with the development of automobiles, which enabled long-distance travel occur. The decline in the union membership and technological development hindered American society, as many unskilled workers were left unemployed. The economic deterrents imposed by the conservative government proved detrimental to the campaign. However, FDR's incorporate of capitalism stimulated the falling economy, along with the providing employment opportunities and infrastructural development across the US. Therefore, the impact of capitalism during the years of 1919 and 1941 proved to be significant in regard to the economic, social, and political spectrum of the United States of America. So guys, this is it. This is part 2. I've released everything that you need to know about the topic of history, capitalism in the United States of America, or in the US. I would just say that. So guys, if you want more videos, make sure you subscribe and like the video, and check out other videos like the Vietnam War essay. If you are interested in history, or if you are doing history at school, you should check that out. And also English poetry summaries, poetry, where I really explain about poetry of grade 12, which is really important too, or grade 11. So guys, don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and share the video also, so that other learners will get. Share the link to groups. Peace.